I mean, when I came across the company, I thought, what the hell does Zapistore do? So we're a software platform in the marketing and consumer insights industry. So my background is I started as a statistician. My master's and my degree is in maths and statistics when it wasn't cool about 20 odd years ago. It is cool now, so I'm pleased I actually did it then. And I actually did have a programming module in my degree, which I completely flunked, which I wish I hadn't now. But anyway, so that's where I started in data and stats. And then I entered, I worked as a statistician for the government for a few years, and then I thought, God, this isn't going anywhere, it's so boring, I'm not going to get huge pay rises, so I need to go into the marketing world. So I entered the consumer market insights industry in the market research space. And I just discovered, actually, Alex, I said to Alex, have you ever heard of a company called GfK? She went, yes, I'm from Nuremberg, so she knows. It's a German company, so it's actually happenstance that we're on a panel together. So I spent 18 years in one organisation, had my kids, I've got 2 girls, one's 15 and one's 11, and I held multiple roles from managing big accounts, to setting up digital research business units, building teams, building business, building products, and then finished as commercial director, had a target of about 90 million. So it was a fairly big number on my shoulders. And then I thought, well, you know, if I look back at my career, this is what I've done, one organisation for 18 years, it's going to be like, what have I missed out on? So I discovered Zapistore, which is a tech startup. It's not so much of a startup anymore, there's 200 of us, based in Camden. I used to work in Canary Wharf. Camden is a bit different from Canary Wharf. You've got people who are homeless wandering around drunk, as opposed to people in suits wandering around drunk. So my role in Zapistore, we're an automation company, so we basically automate what humans do in the market research space. So, and my role is I head up partnerships. So I bring on the right products, the right partners on our platform. I work with Pepsi, I work with all the big organisations in embedding our platform within their organisation and just driving change within the industry and driving the value of technology and how it's changing our industry. So that's me.
Thank you. And we were kind of talking about the twists and turns of careers and all the challenges that kind of threw our way over breakfast the other day. I was just wondering, what does the topic of resilience mean to you?
Gosh, so for me, it's a daily skill. It's a daily skill from managing being a mum to my career and thinking about where my career is going, to managing personalities at work. I've gone into a real tech bro environment and I've had some of my best experiences but some of my worst experiences there. And for me, it's how I deal with that so it doesn't take me back 5 years, that I still continue on the path that I set myself. And then there's also me as a person outside of work, so I run every day, and just making sure that me as an individual is not lost amongst all of that. So I was speaking to Lucia, we're talking about clubbing. I said, how often do you go clubbing? Oh, I don't go clubbing anymore. I said, well, I introduced her to some clubbing, so she's now going clubbing in December, as opposed to December. But it's those sorts of things, it's making sure that you have the fitness and the mindset and the strength to do all those things that you want to do. And I'm not a believer of, I don't have enough time. I think if you really want to do it, you can do it. And actually, I'm one of 7 girls. My mum had 7 girls because she wanted a boy. And that is the honest truth. So I've grown up, I'm the second eldest, I've grown up from, I've had to look after my sisters, to help my dad in his business, as well as educate myself. So that resilience for me is just something that's built into me on a daily basis.
Thank you. Alex, when we were kind of preparing for this session on the phone, we had a group call, and we were sort of thinking a lot about, you kind of go through career type layers of resilience, and there's always kind of a personal layer underneath. Tell us a little bit about you and kind of how you came to be here today and what this topic means for you.
So it's funny when you meet people. So I have 25 years in comms and creative industry. I used to work at Ogilvy. I was managing director of Huge. I was on board of a big PR company. And the reason I'm saying that is that sounds all pretty awesome, you know. And I felt really amazing. And I loved it. I traveled around. I worked for Unilever. I ran all of their digital business worldwide for a long time. I worked for GSK. You start seeing this woman, right? You see this power woman. It's really a brilliant woman.
Yeah, sorry. Perfect. You got the gist, I don't have to. Yeah. So this really powerful woman, and I think I felt quite in love with that picture. I tell you the other story, and the other story is I was made redundant twice. I had a nervous breakdown once. I lost a 2 million client overnight, and that was very clearly my fault, and I'm saying that. And you don't see those stories, right? You don't. And they just came a point where I went like, I'm all of that, and I'm really now, I'm also 50, I'm going to turn 52 this year, so I believe in the creative industry it's incredibly important for women to say their age, because when we turn 50 we kind of disappear. There must be a planet filled with 50-plus-year-old women who used to be amazing copywriters, amazing art directors, amazing planners, amazing client service directors. They're all gone. I'm not sure where they are. So I stepped out, and it was really scary, and I think this is the first time we met. And you dragged me on a panel, and I went like, I have nothing to say because I'm a complete failure. I've just been made redundant again. And
I say that's not how you came across.
And we talk about that, and I think we'll talk a bit about resilience in a minute. And I just went, all right, this is okay. I was 50, I was made redundant a month after my 50th birthday. Evil is who evil thinks. And I let them get away. I had an open conversation with a lawyer at that time, and the lawyer said, you have a complete case. And he asked me one question. And that question lost me a lot of money, but it kept my integrity. And that question was, are you comfortable with the role of the victim? And I said, are you fucking kidding me? No, I'm not. And he said, then we have no case. You will not get through the tribunal because it is going to be hard. You have to be comfortable to be with the victim, because otherwise they will not get you any money. And you know what? I actually went like, that's all right. I made that decision. It was perfectly cool. And it's about exactly 12 months later. I built a career. I am a coach. I still do a lot of creative consulting. So I go into organizations who go, we want to be more creative. And I go, all right, that means we just have to start doing things slightly differently. And I believe in moving away from a consultancy approach, which is, I come with an answer. Hi, can I interest you in my amazing answer? And I go in and say, I do one thing really well. I ask really good questions, because actually I think you have the answers. It's just very loud out there, and you might not be quite clear what the answer looks like. And I love what I do. So that's probably a short story told very long.
Beautiful. And I'm feeling some more spontaneous applause. By the way, I'm not going to hog the microphone to questions, because I have lots of questions, but this is really for you guys to be able to participate. So I will be opening up the floor for anybody who likes a bit of time to think about what they're going to ask. Think about it that way. Rose, there are lots of things that came up in the last session, and just in these kind of short introductions that we've been hearing from people. What are you? I new? Is there anything that's shifting for you in terms of how you think about resilience? And yeah, what are you kind of taking away from this session at this point in time?
I think the last session especially was really informative, and somewhere deep down in your heart you know that, okay, on some level we face something like this. It could be in the beginning of a career or maybe growing up at university or whatever. At some level we faced some sort of bias that we didn't really understand why it was happening to us, but we all faced it in one way or the other. And that's the first thing that just struck me. And the second thing that I was thinking of constantly was, now that I'm running my own company, how do I make sure that this doesn't happen in my company? You know, how do I lead by example? And I was also thinking about all the other opportunities I had in the past, working in different companies, where I could have possibly voiced out my opinion, but I didn't. I think Emma did a great job here. However, in my mind, and I was talking to my partner here as well, who, while we were discussing this way, and we were like, how many women would actually have the courage to go and address their point of view with that sort of assertiveness, that sort of confidence, especially in an industry where, whether it's digital or IT, you don't have many women. And then Emma, on the contrary, obviously knew that she's got other offers, she was comfortable, and she could just walk out any second. What about the other people who don't really have another offer, and they're just stuck with this position? Inside, they're going through hell. Obviously, they're feeling belittled, they're just not feeling important enough. People are just treating them as though they are invisible. And then on the other side, they know they don't really have any other opportunity or any other work available for them to just quickly slide through. So how do we create an environment of support for these people? So the first thing, the entrepreneur in me was like, okay, we need more support groups within the company itself. It's not just about one gender anymore. There's so many forms of discrimination happening in today's world, and it's really important to address all of it. So just having support groups, just establishing that trust factor, at least with one person in the HR or somebody who's easily able to communicate with people without any bias. That's the first thing. And second thing is, even while working within different organizations, I didn't really voice out my opinion where I felt discriminated or biased. But now when I think about it, we would have sessions where we could just drop in anonymous feedback or just send in anonymous emails and things like that, where it would go to one source and they would just highlight the issues. I think we also need to make use of these opportunities, because unless we lead by example, it's going to be really difficult to bring in a significant change in the next few years. So these are the two things that was constantly going on in my mind.
It looks like, Alex, did you want to respond to it? If not, I do have a question, which was around kind of the whole culture piece, which is sort of, we've talked about unconscious bias, for example, and of course we all have unconscious bias. It's not just kind of bad people have we all have unconscious bias. Yeah, just wondering, in terms of thinking about your kind of your self-hacks as well as your culture hacks, how do you check in on your own biases, and how do you go about introducing small habits in the organisations that you work with that help people effectively change the culture bit by bit?
Yeah, and I think what is really important, that's at least my point of view, is that you can't get rid of bias. That's why it's called unconscious bias. And you might be more woke of some of those things, but then you might be quite blind on other things. I do a really interesting program at the moment, so I do a lot of leadership training. And the leadership training I do is with a digital think tank. Not everyone, I don't know who of you know it, but it's about using technology in a more responsible way, thinking a lot about the unintended consequences that might face the product that you're developing and what you could do about this. So automation is a great example. What would that mean for society? Would that change societal norms? And with a lot of those leaders, I do a course at the moment with City Hall. So I work with mayors and assistant mayors, and it is fascinating, you know, policy makers. And we talk a lot about bias. We talk a lot about, these are excellent leaders who are starting to see that the world is changing. They don't quite connect with the world anymore. But that doesn't make them bad leaders. And I get really, you've realized that I'm a very opinionated person. And I'm very happy about that, because I'm also very excited about other opinions. So I'm very good, you might believe it or not, at listening to other people's opinions. I find it very fascinating. But what I found really sad over the last couple of years, and we've talked about that, is that there are weird narratives that don't help us in our resilience. So these people who have been in City Hall are now all bad leaders. They don't know what digital is about. And you go, that's not true. There might be outstanding leaders. They just need to have the opportunity to start thinking differently about that. And I think bringing back to resilience, it is this idea to allow people to build resilience and to allow them, you talked about vulnerability earlier on, to kind of just question some of the general narratives. You know, my personal general narrative that I've been questioning all the time is that being a difficult woman for me is a compliment. I enjoy being a difficult woman. And there's beautiful books for those of you who are going to be older soon. And I'm not quite sure when that happens, but apparently it happened to me. One day I woke up and I was older. It's really interesting, because those narratives that I have a choice of now, looking at it from stereotypes, is either the wise woman, you know, which means I'm gentle and I'm wise, and people come to me and I will nicely tell you wonderful things about my life, or I become the witch, you know, the woman who is kind of angry and likes cats. We don't like cats, and can ride on a broom, which I'd be all up for. Do you see what I mean? I think what I'm trying to do from my creativity is to make people just aware that these narratives are out there, and that part of your resilience is to shape your own life and to kind of go, which of those narratives am I comfortable with? And which of those narratives are not my narrative? And I think I love what you did earlier on with theatre. It's about exploring what my narrative is. You know, that role play I really like. You said it's not easy, there's no right or wrong. But you have to take a stance. You can't stand in the middle. And if I would give anybody advice around resilience, if people ask you to stay in the middle for a long time, it's going to be long-term a really uncomfortable place. And I know that because I tried to stand in the middle for a couple of years. And it really cost me dearly.
It's really fascinating what you're saying, because what I'm hearing is those archetypes are quite binary, and actually you can't stand in the middle, but actually maybe neither of those archetypes are you. So how do you choose your own version? And that might not fit into a nice neat box. That might be really uncomfortable. And I'm just wondering, something about how do you build your resilience to be who you truly need to be? That's a really uncomfortable journey. I don't know, that's you were about to say something.
Yeah, I think it's, maybe it comes with age. I don't know, and I'm not far off you, actually, age-wise. So for me, there was a certain point where I thought, well, who am I? What is my background? And I had a situation at a previous company where a friend of mine and a colleague got basically called over Christmas, told that, you know, they wanted her to leave the company. Fantastic job, the big team, and then they asked me to take her role. And I thought, well, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that because I know what she's been through. Does it mean I have to leave the company? Does it mean I'm done it? And that was my integrity. And I thought, it was oh shit, you know, I'm providing for my family, I've been given this choice, I know how she feels, you know, how should I make this decision? And it was just really, really tough. And through that, you sort of identify. So So those hard situations where you really start knowing who you are and what you stand for, and then you just stick to that. And then I took that with me to the company I'm at right now, which I've had a number of experiences where I thought, actually, do you know what, I don't really give a fuck what you think, because this is who I am, and actually, no, and again, maybe that comes with age, because there was a certain point where I did give a fuck what people thought, and now I'm thinking, and it goes back to those situations where, do you stand up for something, and I am the most senior woman there, and I'm thinking, it's my role to make sure that nobody else goes through what I've been through, and I'm here to help you, because if I had somebody like that, then maybe my journey would have been different. So, whether that's going to end me up being CEO or not, I don't care, but at least I look back and say, I am who I am, and I've stuck to my, my beliefs, and that requires resilience. And resilience to me, in many ways, means I don't really give a shit.
Before I open up to everybody, I was wondering about how do you go about building that resilience? Like, if I give an example for myself, I was kind of raised with my parents always sort of trying to encourage me to be a perfectionist, but I never managed to kind of hit that bar, so I was always trying, but I wasn't really allowed to kind of say I was struggling, or I didn't, it wasn't working for me. I was kind of taught to tuck all of that away. So now in adulthood, I find it really, really hard asking for help, and that's something I'm practicing at the moment. And in fact, for this session, I emailed my fellow 10 digital ladies and said, I'm feeling really nervous about tonight. Can you send me some good vibes? And they did, and I felt better. So anyway, but I have to really kind of make myself do that, and that's something I'm kind of working on. I'm just wondering, what have you learned about the things that you need to do to make your own resilience? Kind of imagining a big machine that you can just kind of switch on and...
I think you made an excellent point where with age, of course, through your experiences, you see so many things, and then you decide that, okay, I'm not going to fall for this, this is what I believe in, this is what I'm going to stand for, and therefore I'm going to go on this route. Now for me, as Lucia's mentioned, when I come from a family, with high expectations, and sometimes I would meet those expectations, sometimes I wouldn't. However, at the end of the day, I always knew what I wanted to do and who I wanted to be. So, irrespective of what groups were around me, whether they would talk to me or wouldn't talk to me or whatever the situation was, my mind was always focused on that one vision. This is why I constantly emphasize on the need of having that vision. It doesn't have to be the same for all of us. It can be different things, because we're all good at something or the other. We've got different skill sets. It doesn't literally have to be on a professional level. It can be a hobby. It can be something you really enjoy doing, something that makes you feel really good about yourself. And you've just been pushing it to the back seat because, okay, I've got children, I've got families, I'm a carer for somebody elderly, whatever the reason is. You just keep pushing yourself to the back seat. And that sort of affects your mind in different ways. And this, I have experienced it personally as well, because you don't take care of yourself. You're just into what you're doing. Either you're in the back seat or you're just totally into the one vision that you've got, and you're being too hard on yourself. And what happens is slowly you see that you're not as strong as you were, mentally, physically, emotionally. Different things start affecting you. And that's when I realized that it's a step-by-step process. You need to take care of yourself. Eating popcorn, cheese, whatever. For me, that works. Movies, badminton, I love badminton. Different things, these little things, it's not a waste of time, it's me time, and that's really, really important. So what happens in this process is when you are with yourself, when you're enjoying what you do, you sort of build up that positivity in yourself. So next time when you encounter an issue, mentally you're more stable to deal with things rather than what you would have been when you're already sort of submerged with different stress levels and different things that are going wrong in your life. So the first thing to build up your resilience would be to take care of yourself first. It's good to put yourself in the driving seat at least once in a while. It's not selfish, so delete that off your mind completely. It's not selfish at all. Me time is more than necessary in today's world. Second thing is to surround yourself with people who you enjoy talking to, who build that energy in you, who give life to your vision or your plans or whatever you're doing. Because we all know that we've got positive people around us and we've got the not so positive people around us. We just put a pin in our balloon and burst it out straight away. And then you have to question yourself, do I need to be around these people constantly? I'm not asking you to cut people out, but you have the time allocation process, you have the power. So if you're able to raise your energy with people who are around you, that positivity, that I can do factor is sort of, being built in you, then be with those crowds for a longer time. Whether it's networking groups, whether it's other people who are running businesses or other people who believe in something that you're passionate about. Just spend some time with them and you will see the difference. You will see that, okay, these guys are also facing the same issue, probably on a different level, but they are able to do it, so even I can do it. Together we can build something really good. So that would be the second step. The third step would, of course, be realizing that, yeah, you're going to have tough days, you're going to fail, and when you come back, you may not be as strong as you were earlier. That is one thing to address. You may not have that same energy or the same drive. But always make sure that you just get your feedback. You're just walking towards your vision, one step at a time. Even baby steps is okay. Just one step at a day, it's fine. Don't over-pressurize yourself. Don't hammer yourself down where you just totally get upset about it. If things are not going your way, just take a little break, come back, and then you'll get other brilliant ideas which will just push you forward in unimaginable ways. This has personally happened to me on so many different levels, and that's why I'm able to talk about it. So those are the steps that I would definitely recommend.
Amazing wisdom, thank you so much. And by the way, we'll be doing a write-up on tonight's event, so you will be able to digest all of that lovely wisdom afterwards. Alex.
I love hacks, I'm very practical, I'm German, I think it goes with the DNA. Sometimes unconscious bias works for you. I have a complete hack which is really, really basic, which is, I call it the jar of joy, and I don't know whether anybody does it, but I do it, which is we are really bad at listening when people say nice things to us. What was the last really nice thing somebody said to you? I'm going to point into this direction and somebody can pick it up. I hate putting people on the spot.
Unfortunately, my fellow did say this morning that I was great. So, he knows I'm having a happy time, so it just reminded me that I was great. Yeah. So,
I think that is awesome. And great you are, my lady. Anybody else? What is the nicest thing that somebody said to you in the last week? This area, somewhere, whoever feels.
This evening.
Whoever wants to say something. Nice.
This evening, the stranger who's just said something absolutely fantastic that took me back to a point in time where you actually really made a difference or done something in a non-technological world that you kind of forget about. It's like there hasn't always been Google mobile phone, right? And you can make a difference with or without technology.
So what I'm doing with this is that what I find really weird is that we all sit down and we have to think. Oh my God, what is the last time that somebody said something nice to us? And I bet you that there were nice things, that you probably heard really nice things in the last 7 hours, but we push it away. Do a bit of an indulgent exercise. And whenever somebody says something nice to you, write it down. You don't have to tell them, just write it down. Get yourself a jam jar and put them all in. All right? Put them all in. Now I'm a coach, and I'm really blessed that I get wonderful letters from people who kind of went, this made a difference. And I was very embarrassed about those letters at the beginning. I am not anymore. They're hanging, at my kitchen table, because when I wake up one day and I feel like porridge warmed up, do you say that in English? You say that in Germany. It helps me. That's resilience. I get that, and not only is it, so you have your jar, and whenever you feel bad, you take one of those things out of the jar. It's amazing, all right? And what is really amazing is think of that moment when that happened, right? Think about what you smelled. Not you smelled, what you smelled, okay? Think about what the tone of the voice was that the person said. Think about the letter that they wrote. You can get yourself back into that really positive space. And I would bet you that you will feel better, because you just reconnected with the moment that you were really good. That will just, in those moments where you go, oh my God, it will never ever be good again, you go, no, actually, you know what, that moment, I had it. So that's a really practical hack. The other one, which is slightly less immediate, is I talk a lot about the fact that people are constantly trying to make themselves better. Who of you reads books to be smarter, better? It's very exhausting, isn't it?
Read about the first chapter.
Read about, you're better than me, I do Audible, and then I kind of fall asleep. There's an obsession of us at the moment that we want to become better and better and better. And one of my provocations is, I would assume you're all pretty good. I see pretty good women and men in here. I have a pretty good gut for people. What you might not be so good in is to thinking about, what do I need in life to be that really good person? What is my environment? So when I am a frog and I sit in the desert, I'm not quite sure whether I'd be an awesome frog. Probably not for very long. All right? So think about it and take responsibility to create the environment that makes you the person you are. It doesn't make you better, it just makes you as good as you are. Does that make any sense? And that's a bit of work. But really sit down. And it is your responsibility. It is not your company's responsibility to provide you with the environment to be your best if you don't know what that environment looks like. So the big work is to figure out, what does that environment look like? And then have a company conversation. And I bet you a lot of your line managers will actually be really delighted that you go, this is what you can help me with. My last sentence, people love it when you ask them for help. I've run companies and you feel very lonely on those. Yeah? And if somebody comes and says, can you help me? That's those moments in the day where you go, oh, there's actually a reason for me to be the MD in this company. I don't just have to order the toilet paper. All right?
I love the idea that resilience is a muscle that we've got to train before the big fight, basically. And because if we haven't built up our biceps, we're not going to be able to throw the punches when they really need throwing. Babita, tell me a little bit about what are the things that you do to kind of build your resilience abs?
I'm a bit of a adrenaline junkie, so I don't function if I don't exercise, basically. So that's my way of coping with what I want to do, what I need to do. So it's whether I go for a run, or go for yoga, or that, and that is something I will never give up. Whatever I do, I've got kids, I've got a family. So that builds up my resilience, and I always set myself new challenges. So I'm training for a half marathon. I'm going to try to do 2 this year. So that's my goal. I don't have a marathon in me yet. Maybe next year. And for me, it's just knowing there's sort of difficult challenges, but knowing that I'm having fun as well. You know, fun in my life is really, really important. And if I'm in a difficult situation, making that difficult situation fun. And that's whether, doing team bonding stuff, whether that's drinks or not drinks, or whether that's making time to see my friends, or going dancing, or, a lot of that stuff. So that sort of balances out. That gives you that sort of moment to this is really rubbish what I'm dealing with.
And it releases those hormones in your body, and it just has a long-term effect as well.
Yeah. So So I think it's very similar. And for me, it's also my children as well. I've got 2 girls, and it's just making them realise that you can do this stuff. And once you do something scary, the scarier the task is, the more rewarding I find. And once you get that adrenaline from achieving those goals, you just want to go for more. I mean, that's just me. So that's how I build up my resilience.
Yeah, I can see you going down the bars. Okay, I'm going to open this up. Does anybody have any comments, questions? I'm wondering if anybody has any sort of hacks that they'd like to share. Ooh, sure, hacks.
Hi, it's actually, we had a kind of girls group ladies lunch at work last week. One of the things that came out was about, we were sort of talking about resilience, but one of the things that can actually wear that resilience down or chip it away is the inner voice, that little niggle that we all have, and it could be the niggle that kind of says, you're not worthy, you're not good enough, you're not part of that group, you're not ready, you're not, you know, you're not personable enough, or whatever that thing is. It's just that inner little voice. So we were talking about that, and I just wondered if you've got any tips that we could perhaps share with girls at work, you know, it might be useful for all of us as well. How have you dealt with your little inner voice, and how have you kind of, you know, trained that little inner voice to be perhaps more positive and help build your resilience rather than chip away at that resilience?
One great question.
It's an excellent question, and I think all of us can relate to that, because you've got that one negative voice constantly saying something in your mind. The only thing that I do when these things happen, which happens quite a lot, especially in business, is I just turn around. Not literally, but turn around in my life. And I just look back at all the challenges that I've overcome. It doesn't necessarily have to be work-related. It can be in your personal lives, it can be in any aspect of your life where you've shown a lot of strength. You've shown a lot of stability, you've shown that you can do it and you've achieved it. It could be a childhood trophy that you've received for an essay writing competition, or whatever the memory is. Just turn around, magnify that memory in your mind, and then slowly you'll start building up the confidence in yourself. This is what I personally do, and it really helps.
2 things, data and love. So back to you, look at the data. Okay, just look at the data. That's all I need to tell people I work with, and then they know exactly what I mean. Is this actually true? Is there actually facts for this? So that's the first thing. And then the second thing, you know that niggly voice? And there's a lot of psychological things written about it. It helps you a lot of time. It's there because it helps you. It has helped you in the past. It might now not be very helpful anymore. But I think rather than shutting that voice off, because what happens if you shut children off? I don't have any. What happens if you shut children off?
Shout louder.
They shout louder, right? So one of the exercises is to actually start, so I'm weird, so I'm Alex, and I have little Alex with me all the time. And sometimes little Alex gets a massive tantrum. Massive tantrum, you can imagine that, right? And I had no idea how to deal with little Alex because I have very little filter. I'm on the spectrum. That's another of my little challenges in life. I don't really understand humans sometimes. But I think it's about loving it and just listening into it and saying, you know what, it's okay. I have this. You don't have to be, it's okay. I have this. And it's really funny. It works. It sounds a bit like but it isn't. It's instead of going, you go, okay, what is this? Oh, you say that I'm going to be shit in that? No, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. We are going to do this. And the voice will get, slowly but surely, a little quieter bit by bit. Just try it. It sounds a bit weird, but it worked for me very well.
We've got similar groups where I work, and what we found actually, it's a safe place to actually voice those little voices in your head, and you find it's not just you, other people have got those similar voices and some of the common themes. So what we've done is said, okay, right, well, how are you dealing with this? And let's break it down. Let's break it down what we could do about it. It's actually something you said to me, Lucia, when we went for breakfast. You may not realise it's not achieving that, it's the process, and it's sort of breaking down how do you overcome that voice, and having that one person within that group say, okay, we're going to achieve this together, and you help me, and be my sort of peer-to-peer network within that space. So just sometimes that gives you that bit of comfort that somebody else is with you on that journey and understands you and helps you achieve that. I think we've got that, and I think that it's another way of dealing with it. But that little voice is never going to go away. It's always going to be something there, and yeah, it's just trying to break it down and rationalise it. So, well, what's the worst thing that can happen? Nobody's going to die if well, hopefully not, by the time if you get something wrong, but yeah.
Questions?
Hello. Something I found really interesting is that you mentioned that you had to wait till later in life, but it was because you were a little bit older, you had that experience that you could make those decisions to either step back or change your role, change the people you were around, or kind of understand the reaction of what you were about to do. And what I find interesting is that, there's somebody I brought along tonight who has truly inspired me to kind of push crack on in life and to take those risks. And I'm mid-20s. So my question is, what's stopping somebody younger taking those risks? Because actually at the moment I don't have children, I don't have a mortgage, and actually I feel I'm in a better position to fall over, to make those mistakes and pick myself back up again. It's scary, but I feel that it's just interesting that you mentioned waiting a little bit later. I just wondered, what's to stop a younger person doing it as well?
Nothing really. It's just my personal experience that I felt much more comfortable in my own skin, my experience, and my journey. But I mean, I'm probably one of the third eldest person in the company I work at. So yes, I've gone from the youngest to one of the eldest, which was a bit of a numbing experience. But I work with a bunch of mid-20 who are just super confident and know what they want and know what they want, where they want to go. But and I was like that as well. But it's just how I sort of dealt with such situations is different now to then, just because I know me better. So there's nothing stopping you from doing that now. It's just different ways and different experiences, and puts you in a different mindset.
One thing that I do is I coach young people in schools, and I love that. So I coach at a creative school in Brixton. And these are amazing kids. They're any age between 17 and, they go into the 30s. But I think when you're at the start of your journey, your choices are so many, And I used to be a strategist, and what guides every strategist is strategy is sacrifice. Yeah, if strategy doesn't tell you what not to do, chances are it's a shit strategy. Always call your planners out. Is that strategy actually giving you clear guidance on what not to do? And I think when you're young, and I still love clubbing a lot, I'm not sure we have the same taste of music, but we can discuss about this later on. I'm into heavy industrial, so... but I think sometimes it's just the choices that are out there. And, the kind of, do I do this? Or do I do this? If I was doing this, does that mean I can't do this anymore? And I can completely see that, this choice paralysis. And I think the only thing you do when you get older is that you've just done a lot of it. And that you just go, I've read the other day, and I love this, there is no career path anymore. There's a career matrix. And I really love this visual,
Because when I was younger, I was terrified. If I don't do this, I won't get there, right? For me, life was a life of snakes and ladders. Does that resonate? You climb up and somebody pushes you down again. Climb back up. And actually realizing that that is just in your head, and that there are connections that come up that you might not see now, but I bet you, and you just have to trust me on that one, that they will be there. And I think just have that lightness at times. Yeah? Does that answer a little bit of the question?
I just feel that we're often criticised, or I personally am criticised for being strong-headed or not sitting in a job for more than a year because you're not bored but you just want to go try something else or it's not quite suited. And I feel that there's a lot of young people who are expected to stay in their jobs for 2 years because that's what you're meant to do to grow and experience. And as you quite rightly said, there's a matrix now where actually we're experimenting a lot more to find people to do. There's a lot more freelancers now because we get really stuck in an office. And I say us, so don't realize I'm young people, but it was just my experience that it's quite a negative thing for somebody who looks quite younger to be wanting to take those chances. And it's just, yeah, it's interesting.
There's a film that you very clearly, probably, I might be wrong, not seen. It's a 90s, noughties film, The Groupier. Does anybody know that film? The Groupier? Yeah. Exactly. So there's a wonderful saying in there, which is, hold on tightly, let go lightly. And it is one of the themes in my life. Hold on tightly when it is really important to you, when you want to stick it. You know, hold on tightly. When you go, do you know what, this is done. I need to move on, let go lightly. And that balance is really hard, but whenever I'm kind of slightly stuck, it's helped me. Am I in a phase of hold on tightly? And what are my coping strategies then? Or am I in a phase of let go lightly? Don't know whether that helps.
Just to quickly add in, the upside of what you've just mentioned is, yes, there's judgments and all of that, but at the end of the day, you will end up finding your true passion. When you're switching through different careers, what the job spec is, when you actually settle for something at the end, it's something that you really love. And the happiness that you feel at that point of time, only you will realize it. Irrespective of what the other people around you are feeling or still judging, perhaps, it doesn't really matter. It's your passion and you need to find it. So just, if it takes you long, just do it. I mean, we all deserve happiness. We all deserve to be happy doing what we do. And we have the right of choice. So that's what we should do. Yeah?
Yeah, so one of the things that I've noticed is that, we're in a room of people who want to kind of, to be resilient and to find solutions. And I think one of the things I've noticed over the last few years is that, as a manager or even just as a colleague, I've noticed that some people, they don't want to find solutions, or rather, they want life to be easier, but they kind of put up barriers. So you kind of offer them a practical suggestion of just even a little thing they could do. And they come up with 2, 3, 5 reasons why that's not going to work. And I get where that's coming from, and I don't judge. But one of the things I'd love to hear is, I assume that you probably will come across people, in that situation, in that negative, kind of headspace. Have you got any advice or suggestions or other ideas of how to help, if that's the right thing to do?
Well, it's not a skill that everybody's going to have. So when I've managed people and teams, you can offer advice, you can help your team, but ultimately it's down to the individuals, and it's only going to benefit them in the long term. It's like you can take a horse to water, but you can't get it to drink. So you've done your best, and for me, it's as long as it's not about me. As long as I feel that I've done what I can to help that individual, I think it's what you said. Everybody has a responsibility to help themselves as well, and whatever the outcome of that will be. So you can't sort of beat yourself up for somebody being have low resilient levels simply because they just don't want to, and that will guide who they are, their career, their lives. So I don't think I can offer anything more than that, really.
So if I'm being brutally honest, you mentioned that you're in a managerial position dealing with people who are not so positive. Let's put it across positively at least. For me, I'm somebody who's really strict about deadlines and the quality of what I promise my clients. And if somebody is coming in the way of that, I will move over that project work to somebody else who I think is trustworthy. Because at this point, when you've reached this really critical, uncomfortable position, the onus is on you, because you are in charge of delivering a good quality result. And you need to make the wise decision there, detaching all emotions, because at the end of the day, it's going to make your team look bad because of one person's failure of not taking up extra tasks or whatever the situation is. So for me, it would go on a primary level where you would straight away allocate it to somebody else. And I would do it in a really subtle manner where I would ask somebody else to join this person, because it's happened to me. So I would ask somebody else to join this person, and the person who's being difficult, I would ask them to sort of shadow this main person, offer your feedback on what they're doing wrong, what they're doing right. So both of them have got critical tasks at hand. And at that point, you know that, okay, both of them will take it seriously because this person knows that somebody else is going to do my work at the moment. So I need to sort of add some value to this project. And that's how it usually helps you balance things out. You cannot really get rid of such perspectives, unfortunately, because this is real life. You will have people who are really kind to you, who are like enjoying your energy, who want to help you out, and at the same time you have people standing in the exact opposite side of the fence. But juggling with people on both sides, creating a healthy balance, making sure that relationships are not disrupted in your organization is entirely up to you. So making that strategic decision in your mind, and then slowly sort of getting two people on board, dividing the responsibilities is something that would really be helpful as well.
You should read that book because that it's this fine line between, because there may be some underlying issues why that individual is not performing or taking the advice.
But they're not having a good time.
Right.
So sometimes it's actually about how do you help that person attain them a certain way. You will keep them, and you want them to actually enjoy their work. And that's, so it's not definitely not always about somebody not performing.
Right.
It's not performing, that's definitely not them. Because at the end of the day, they're being paid money to do it, and if they're not performing, they're not actually honouring their contracts. So the handle was there. But it's when somebody is performing, is having that issue. And it's not all about work, it's really about personal stuff. But
I also wonder if there's something about taking a coaching style approach with that person and what is the exploration. There's something really simple that can be really useful in those sorts of conversations, which is just thinking about the 3 different levels of listening. So you can listen for the facts, the data, you can listen for, okay, what do I think this person's intent is behind what they're saying, and then you can listen for their values. So what is it that, what am I kind of seeing that tells me about what's really important? And quite often those signals aren't aligned, and that can sometimes be, result in those conversations where no one's getting what they want. We're going to take another couple, 1 or 2 questions, and equally the option is open to come and drink some more wine. Has anybody got any other questions for our panel or observations? I'm feeling wine time. I'm feeling wine time. Listen, I just want to say a massive thank you for bringing so much of yourselves, your authenticity, your stories to this panel. It really takes a lot of bravery to just show up in that really authentic way. I really appreciate it, and I think our audience tonight really appreciates that candour. Thank you so much to Babita, Alex and Rose. A massive round of applause.